Hello and welcome back to the LFC transfer room for a Wolves v Liverpool match preview. Today, there's just two of us, me and Hassan. Hassan, how you doing today?
I'm fine, just waiting for the match tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. I think every game's a must win, especially, we'll talk a bit about it, but Pep's confirmed Rodri's done his ACL. Obviously, it looks like Odegaard. They're keeping secretive on that, but I'd be surprised if we saw him before December. So, that's a good 6 games there. So it's interesting. But again, guys, if you're joining us on either Twitter or X or YouTube, leave your comments below. There's only two of us, so any questions, we'll fly off. We'll go a bit rogue today. So yeah, but I guess before we go into that game, Hassan, so mentioned on it there that Rodri injury, Pep's confirmed he's going to be out for at least 8 or 9 months. He said potentially even more. I think Rodri's had a lot of muscle injuries in his past. He's what 29, 30 now. You look at that. Unless I'm mistaken, I don't know. I'll double check. I
28,
won't do.
I think it's
20,
28.
28,
Yeah.
yeah. So, by the time he's fit, looking maybe 29. So it's a tough one, but you know we don't want to celebrate player injuries, but it's a part of the game. You wish Rodri the best, but at the end of the day, that's great news for Liverpool and Arsenal fans alike, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's now made up that they will sign Zubimendi in the January because I think we were linked somewhat with Matthias Nunes, and I think City just bought him for the sake that we won't get him. So City usually, I think, waits for these types of signing the player which is in high demand, and they know that our scouting department is really good. So maybe because he was the replacement for Rodri in Spain also in Euros, so it looks like they can go for him in the January. With but Rodri is Rodri. He has proven so many times that he's one of the best midfielders, and the thing which irks us a lot that he comes up with really big goals at crucial times. So he's a big game player, and they will miss him. KDB is also not 100%, and with his age, and he has a past injury record as well. So this season, after winning four consecutive, maybe they will slow down this time.
Yeah, definitely. And we've saw over the years, when Rodri gets an injury, City drop points. Since they've got him. They obviously tried to sign Calvin Phillips to help replace him. They haven't really done that. I think Rico Lewis is now probably their backup for him, which obviously he's a good little player, Rico Lewis, but he's no Rodri, is he? Let's be honest. So, um, I mean, I'll put this to you as well, but Arsenal have fell into this trap. Man City have now fell into this trap, not having enough backups. You know, yes, you can't get the player quality, as Rodri. You can't justify spending what's going to cost to buy a player like that to sit on the bench. But, you know, I think a prime example is Liverpool in attack. You know, if Diaz gets injured, we have Gakpo. If Nunez or Jota gets injured, we have either one of them. We can swap that position round, and maybe it's the midfield market, but I think the main thing we need to take away from the KDB and the Odegaard injuries, because man, Arsenal are dealing with it too. They don't have a replacement for Odegaard. You know, we don't have a replacement for Gravenberch or McAllister. You know, it, I think McAllister's is detrimental as well, because if he goes, you got Endo there, and that role, and to be fair, even Gravenberch, if Gravenberch goes, you've got Curtis Jones. So to me, that says in January, a midfielder. It should have happened in the summer. It has to happen now, surely.
Yeah, but as we know that our scouting department is really, maybe, what should I say, the correct word, maybe, they don't go for any player, only the perfect player is who met all the requirements, only then they will go, and the price is right. So we'll see which players are linked. Zubamendi will be interesting because the news coming up is that he has not signed the deal with Sociedad, and Sociedad have no plans to give him the new deal. So maybe he'll see. They have not started really well, the league also. So he will be one of the player we look into, but because of uh, city's situation, maybe they'll look into him. So we'll see what happens, and what is the league position for us then. Arsenal have been really lucky last season with injuries, and maybe they became a bit of arrogant, and they didn't see they really needed to reinforce and attack. uh, they just bought more defenders, and now uh, they will. But Arsenal, they are Stoke 2.0 now. They
Mm.
really focus on defense rather than attack.
Yeah, definitely. Well, oh, that news over and done with. We'll go on to match preview. So, Liverpool versus Wolves. First news we'll go over. Again, guys, if you want to put your predicted teams in the comments, do that, and we'll go over them when we're talking about our predicted teams. Little bit of an illness for Wolves, Hassan. They've, I don't know, Gary O'Neill said it's a virus, and apparently it's took out quite a lot of Wolves players, and they're not really sure who's going to be okay for tomorrow. I think fortunately for them, it's a 5:30 game, so they have plenty of time to kind of be like, are you okay? Give them some Imodium, make sure that they're not doing a Gary Neville a Gary Lineker on the pitch. So I'd be surprised if we didn't see a very strong, like pretty much full fit Wolves team. But you know, we've got to take everything we get now, don't we? You know, I was very pessimistic about us even challenging for the league, and I still am. But I think extenuating circumstances, there's a real possibility in my mind. If we keep this form up, if we don't concede, if we go and just beat teams comfortably, keep it running, and it's a big game. It's Wolves. I know we don't always struggle against Wolves. Gary O'Neill, he's a good manager. He knows how to set up against these teams. So, but do you think that the virus will have much of an impact on the game tomorrow, or do you think maybe it's Wolves are playing it up a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's old mind games to be a bit safe, that if they lose heavily, they can always rely on that we were sick. And I think Wolves are are a mediocre team now, because they have results up and down. Gary O'Neill did a great job initially, but now they have mixed results. And I think the way they have started this season, and the thing is that they want to play football that plays in our hand. Only team which gave us problem was Forest, which came just to defend. So I think with Wolves, they will try to play with high line and passes, like they tried with Chelsea, and they were demolished by them. So hopefully that can be the case. But I expected a great result against Nottingham as well.
Yeah, definitely. We can't. That Nottingham Forest game has to be a one-off, and I
Yeah,
think with
hopefully.
all the comments that Slot kind of had, It's been 3 games since it's happened, and I'm pretty sure he's mentioned it every single game about Nottingham Forest. So, yeah, but we'll go into kind of our predicted lineup first. Obviously, Kelleher. I
Yeah.
think it's toss up. I think before the FA Cup game, Slot said that they're hoping he'll be ready for the Wolves game, but it's not 100%. Would you risk it? I mean, Kelleher hasn't done really anything wrong in the 2 games he's played. We know that Allison, loves an injury, so I think an extra game's rest will probably do him well, in my opinion. And I think if Kelleher has a good game again, as cynical as this sounds, his price goes up. So I don't know about you, but I think unless Allison's 100%, I wouldn't be starting Allison tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. It's tightness, and hopefully, if he's not 100%, we don't take a chance on him, because we all know that he have some injury record in the past. He goes away for a month or so. So hopefully, with Keller doing well, we don't need to take chance, because in midweek there's a Champions League game at home against Bologna. So there was always a chance that Keller start that game also. So we can rest him for 2 more games in this run up.
Yeah, definitely. Think the defence is nailed on, Hassan. Uh, Trent, Canate, Van Dijk, Robertson. I don't think
Yeah,
they they haven't put a foot wrong, have they? So especially,
and
I
they
don't,
rested also
yeah,
in midweek.
definitely. I don't know about you, but I think it's off topic, but Canate this season. I was one of them going into this season where I thought, Kwanzaa he was probably one of our better players with Harvey Elliott in when we took a downhill turn last year, or last season, and I was like, you've got to give Kwanzaa the spot. Obviously, Kwanzaa had a bit of a mare against Ipswich, not as bad as people made it out to be, but he,
Yeah.
he wasn't amazing. But Kanate's come in, and I think I saw something. He's the only defender in the Premier League who's got 100% tackle rate and 90% duel rate. I saw something else. I think since he's joined the Premier League, he is the best dueler in the Premier League by a long
Mhm.
distance. He just does not lose his duels, and for what Slot wants, I think he wants someone who's aerial dominant, and he wants someone who is gonna win his duels. And Ibrahima Konate is that perfect player. But as it is with so many other players, it's injuries, isn't it? It's if he can stay fit, he could be one of the best centre backs in the world, and quality wise, he is. But it's that injury niggling all the time, isn't it? It's like whatever it is knee. So, but how impressed have you been with him this season? I think he's been amazing. I can't pick one weakness in him.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the beauty of competition. He saw that Kwanzaa was doing really well towards the end of last season, and he started this season as well. And with some bad luck towards Kwanzaa, he grabbed his opportunity and has been immense. And I think, uh, as you mentioned about the injury record, we should gain whatever we can until he's fit and giving his best, and he's 100%. Because the seasons we were excellent, we had a stable partnership with Virgil and Gomez first, and then Matip and firstly Matip and Virgil, and then Gomez and Virgil. They played throughout almost the season, and they had a good backup. So this season also, Kwanzaa has firmly taken up the Kwanzaa position. So this will benefit us that we have a really solid backup going, because they cannot go the whole season. And I really like that Gomez is again put at the center back position by Slot.
Yeah. Definitely. Before we move on, we'll go over some comments as well, guys, to see a few people have put stuff in there. So if you have any questions about the game or just Liverpool in general, stick them down below and we'll touch on them a little bit towards the end of the stream. But mid also to again, if you are on YouTube, make sure you do leave a like and subscribe. If you're watching on Twitter, come over to YouTube. Just YouTube's just the one. You put your comments in better. I'll see them more. Okay. Midfield. Firstly, I'll read this. So obviously, Lizedi Kotani. I'm really bad with names, so apologies if I've butchered it. I can't believe Morton's playing under 21. Wolves are bottom of the league. Great opportunity for him. Why decline a loan only to demote him, stifling his development? Terrible management, in my opinion. And then he also put, I would like quite a bit of rotation. Bologna is a must win. We have Madrid and Leverkusen home. I want full strength first. Bologna. Midfield three. I think it's nailed on again, Hassan.
Yeah,
Obviously, Lizzetti wants more in there. I, for what I saw in the EFL Cup, I do not think we are going to be seeing Tyler Morton unless there is a lot of injuries. What about you?
yeah, exactly. People seems to forget because the season has just started that it will be a long season. There are more games, so it's inevitable that there will be some injuries. There will be players' form going down. Like last season, Soboslai started off really well, and after in the season at the towards end he dipped. So there will be some so we will there should be players who should not think that they will be automatically be picked. Whoever is performing will be given will take up the position.
Yeah, definitely. But the midfield, Gravenberch, McAllister, Sabozlai.
Yeah, because Harvey is not still here. He might have been the one who might change Soboslai, maybe, but when he's injured, it will be Soboslai all the way.
Yeah, and it seems like Curtis Jones is the backup to Gravenberch, and then Endo is the backup to
Yeah,
McAllister, which,
McAllister.
let's be honest, not the best backups, I don't think, which is why I understand where Lizzetti's coming from with why didn't we send Morton on loan, but Morton's a utility player. I think if anyone can play both of Gravenberch and McAllister's role, it's most likely him. I was disappointed not to see him in the EFL Cup, but I think that goes to Slot wanting to play two up for front for or Jota in the 10. So it was a strange one, but I do think if we sign a midfielder in January, I would not be surprised to see Tyler Morton heading out on loan, maybe to a high championship club. But yeah, so the front three, obviously, before we go on to it, Stevie has said, I think CHIESA needs some minutes in the weekend. He obviously played 60 minutes against West Ham.
Yeah,
Didn't look amazing, but got an assist. Not
yeah,
sure he was trying to get an assist, but he got an assist. He was doing the basics right. Didn't really see anything outstanding, but we didn't see anything bad in the same light. So that's a positive.
yeah.
Be very shocked to see him start, would you?
Yeah, the positive thing was he was a willing runner. He was uh, always willing to get the ball. He was going on spaces. If he there was a need on left side, he was on the left side. He was on the right side. There were really positive signs from him. And I think probably maybe in Champions League he'll start again uh, with Diaz and his form. He's nailed on the left wing for me. Uh, Now, coming to the center, it will be interesting because Jota is everywhere. He's the best finisher. He was up and down in the season, but he again got two goals. But and NUNEZ started also that game, so it will be interesting to see who will start in the middle. On the right wing, it will be Salah.
Yeah, I think. realistically, that striker spot's the only spot that's even up for debate in this team. I think the rest of the team picks itself. Obviously, Keller, Allison, depending on Allison's fitness, but even that it's either or. What would you go with? Would you go with Nunez or Jota? I think, from my point of view, Gary O'Neill isn't the type of manager who's going to just sit back and defend. He plays football. He plays his way, and he doesn't really adjust for. He's not going to be like Arteta and sit 10 players behind the ball because Man City are good at football. He's going to try and outdo them, which is his downfall sometimes, mainly because the lack of quality players he has. But Wolves aren't going to sit deep, and I think them not sitting deep, I think, plays into both of their hands. But I would still play Jota. I do think that EFL Cup game was whoever performs here is going to start on the weekend, and
Yeah,
Jota performed, didn't he?
yeah, but yeah, exactly. He performed really well. Nunes played the whole 90. I think Jota came off.
Yeah,
So this also indicates that maybe Jota will start this game and Nunes can come in the Bologna game. It's good that we have options. Nunes also provided assist for Gapco. He linked up with Gapco really well. Maybe they both are the ones they will because Diaz and Jota will start, and they are the second ones behind them. So they have developing their understanding. Uh, so I think I agree with you that Jota, because he scored and he came off, he'll start this game.
yeah, definitely. So I guess for we'll recap our one. So it was got Keller. I think Keller. We've got Keller in goal. Um, Trent, Canate, Virgil, Robbo, McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Salah, Diaz, and Diogo Jota up top.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, we'll fall back on this a little bit. Yeah, thoughts on this? Gakpo versus Diaz isn't as cut. I think Gakpo's more useful in low box. Diaz needs space to provide. I think a left wing slot should be more tactical than form based. I mean, I can see where he's come from. The
yeah,
only low block we've really come up against this year has been Nottingham Forest. But you say that Gakpo came on and didn't really do anything either. Um, I
nobody
think
did.
exactly. I think that low block. I think the main issue with the low block now is we don't have Harvey Elliott. I think if one player can unlock a low block, it's Harvey Elliott because we don't have any players. I think in midfield, I think Gravenberch and McAllister are good at doing, kind of quarterback passes, little dinks into the passing lanes, you know, over players. But Harvey Elliott and thread that ball like nobody else on our team. I don't even think Trent in them type tight spaces can maneuver the ball like Elliot. And you can tell that's the massive difference between Sabozlai because in that low block, you don't really need to be running
Yeah,
12k, which is what Sabozlai is good for. He's a running machine, he's an engine. But the sooner Harvey Elliott comes back for me, I won't be worried in low blocks. What about you? I don't think the Gakpo Diaz. I don't really. I think they're both very similar against low blocks for me personally.
yeah, I completely agree with you on Harvey's point. In preseason, I think it was against United, where he dinked the ball and Carvalho finished it on the volley. He played really well in the uh, preseason. I thought that this season, with games coming up, he'll get his chances. He finished off last season really well as well. So, and his creativity, I agree with you, will be really immense in low blocks. He can see the pass between the players and he can dink it. So I think. whenever he comes back in. And I agree with, I forgot the guy's name who commented, but I agree with him. Maybe if that in Leslie, I think he in Nottingham Forest, maybe if Kepco have started, because he comes in, and and he passes really well. Like in Euros, we've seen that uh, he crosses really well. Uh, Diaz, I think he cuts in and shoots really well, but I think his crosses are not as lethal as Gapco. But in that game, if there are crosses, there should have been someone who can head the ball. So that's another thing we must look at, that if there's a low block and we are playing crosses and high balls, there should be some height in the opposition box as well.
Yeah, definitely. I see. I do see where he's coming from. I think Diaz as well is probably better off the bench, against the low block because he's got that pace. I think if maybe in that Nottingham Forest game, Gakpo had kind of drain down the right back's energy because that I think his name's Aina or Ina, the Nigerian right back, who he
I know.
tied he tied Diaz up that entire game. Like he was one of the best players on the pitch. So, I think maybe if you have a fresh Diaz coming off and straight away, I can see where you're coming from. But yeah, so tomorrow the game's 5:30. Score predictions. I'll let you go first. What would you be? Obviously, we're all happy with a win at the end of the
Yeah,
day, but we're keeping clean sheets. We're scoring
yeah,
goals to keep it up. So, what's your score prediction, Hassan?
yeah. uh 3-0 for us.
3-0. I'll go 2-0. 2-0. I'll go a Mo Salah and a Ryan Gravenberch goal.
Really?
There we go. Ryan Gravenberch's gonna run through 10 players and score. So there we move, we
Hopefully.
move. But before we leave, I saw something a little bit interesting. Um, somebody Leslie's here said we don't need a midfield signing. We have Bacchetic coming back, and
Really?
then yeah, and then Mr. Oswald, Sir Oswald, has said he's smashing it on loan. Now we know that Stefan Bacchetic is a great player. However, we need a midfielder now, don't we, Hassan? Not in a year, and it's very clear that Stefan Bacchetic does not want to be your 4-4-5 choice, which is very much what has happened with his loan move. So, as much as I like him, and I think he would be a great McAllister, backup, he clearly doesn't want to play that role. And, you know, I think in the meantime, we need to sign somebody because we have nobody. So, Pacetic is good, but we need someone now, realistically, don't we?
Yeah, and him going on loan was part of his development, because he missed most of the last season because of injury. He needs game time. He needs development. He went on a good team with coaches known to us and him also. So I think I don't think he can come back in January. We'll need a player, and hopefully there is already work going on, uh, with some news coming in for Martin Zubimendi. Maybe there is some understanding.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that was everything. Guys, thank you very much for joining in and tuning in today. If you haven't, make sure you do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We live stream pretty much every single day. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed with the notifications on, Hassan, thank you very much for joining today.
Thank
But we
you.
will be back tomorrow after the Wolves game, about 15-20 minutes after. So make sure you are subscribed. But yeah, I've been Charlie. This has been the LFC Transfer Room, and thank you very much for watching.